Hello, Internet. This is Remy Militello, and I am here to talk about the new formats coming to Yu-Gi-Oh!, which make me extremely excited. So, we have four to talk about, and they are all extremely interesting. Some of them may sound familiar to some of you, but some of them will be brand new. So the first up is we have Time Wizard. And I'm not going to read these verbatim. I'm going to put it up on screen if you want to read them. But essentially, Time Wizard is a way for local card shops to run old formats, such as Goat format or Edison format, in order to appease those who would like to play from a bygone era, a Yugi Boomer, if you will. And it's a really cool idea. It's something I really like. I think they are going to have to do a lot of reprints in order to make this feasible, because it's all well and good to say, let's all play GOAT, but then you try and get the card, and some of these cards haven't been printed in 10 to 15 years, so that can be kind of tough. But if they start doing reprints of old sets like that, I would be all for it. I would love it. And that's Time Wizard. The next one is Heart of the Underdog, which is something I've been kind of hearing about for years. It hasn't been called this, but the idea is generally that you ban certain meta decks in order to allow rogue decks, something like a Cyber Dragon or hell, Grand Maju, to succeed or to at least compete at a better level. I really like this idea. I've heard this kicked around for a long time. The two examples used are Drytron and Tri-Brigade, but there is no shortage of very strong meta decks. At any given time, there's generally 4 to 5. And this would be a way to eliminate those decks without really hurting anything, because if those people want to, they can still play in the Master Duel format. So Heart of the Underdog holds a lot of appeal to me as someone who likes rogue decks, who likes gimmick decks. I'm very excited to see kind of where this goes. The only thing that really worries me is the fact that Konami's not running its own ban list for this. No, instead they're letting individual stores decide what gets banned, and I find that a little worrying, because if a rogue deck just happens to be good in the hands of a player that wins a lot, are they going to ban Cyber Dragons because someone's really good with them? I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see what happens. It's still too early to really tell with any of this, but specifically with this, because we just don't know how local stores are going to handle this. And the next one is Common Charity, which, if you were familiar with Magic, it is essentially Pauper. You can only use common cards. This is a great idea. I absolutely love this kind of format. Some people are already complaining that Grand Maju and I think Dogmatica have most of the cards you need for those decks in common. But that being said, there could still be a ban list put in place. And also, Grand Maju won't be as powerful, I think, as people are assuming, because there are cards that deck needs that are printed only in higher rarities. Like the Golden Castle of Stromberg, I'm pretty sure is only rare and up. And that deck really does need that card in order to pop off the way you would want. So I don't think it's as sure a thing as some people have been kicking around. But at any rate, I'm extremely excited for this, because a lot of decks, especially modern ones, just won't be able to play in this format, because the general way that packs work, or archetypes work, if you're unaware, is you get a bunch in common rarity, but the ones you truly need are in super rare or ultra rare. And that has been true for a number of years. And so probably most decks from the past 4 to 6 years won't be able to be played in Common Charity, but that's super cool. So we're going to see a lot more creativity, ideally, because of that. And I'm excited to see it. The last one we need to discuss is Deckmaster, which on the surface level sounds a lot like Commander, if you're familiar with that. But it's got its own special Yu-Gi-Oh twist. So I think this one might be best if I just read it. Based on the Yu-Gi-Oh anime arc where Noah Kaiba brought Yugi and friends into a virtual world to duel, each duel allowed the duelist to select a deck master to help them in multiple ways. Duelists begin each match by selecting a monster to serve as deck master. The deck master begins each game outside of the deck. Any effects of the monster apply as if the monster were face up on the field. Duelists can normal summon the deck master to the field, ignoring any summoning requirements anytime there would be a Duelists can normal summon the deck master to the field, ignoring any summoning requirements anytime they would be able to normal summon a monster. No tributes are required for high-level monsters, and no material are needed for fusion monsters, synchro monsters, Xyz monsters, and link monsters. If the deck master is destroyed, the duelist loses the game. So it's that last part that really differentiates this from Commander. In Magic, or specifically in Commander, if your commander dies, they just go back to the command zone and are more expensive to cast. You don't lose the game. So that adds a much higher stake to this format. I'm also very interested to see sort of what ends up happening in terms of who ends up being the strongest Deckmaster. I'm actually probably the least excited for Deckmaster, just because I'm not sure exactly what it's gonna look like, and also there's gonna be a bit of a ruling mess when it comes to having something destroyed. Is it only destroyed? Does being banished count? Does being sent from the field to the deck count? What counts in terms of quote-unquote destroying the monster? We're not really sure yet, and hopefully we'll get some clarification with that in the future. It's worth keeping in mind that this is all from a leak that was sent to a game store, and this is real, but we just don't have a lot of details about what's going on with everything yet. But I'm super excited. I think Time Wizard, Heart of the Underdog, Common Charity, and even Deckmaster are very interesting. And I'm excited to see sort of what ends up happening with them if local stores pick them up. I am really happy that Konami is actually supporting this. They don't have an amazing track record with alternative formats. If anyone bought anything regarding speed duels, then you will definitely know this. But I have a lot more faith that they will put effort behind this. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bothered to do this in the first place, because local game stores realistically could have already done all of this, maybe with the exception of Deckmaster. But like Time Wizard, Heart of the Underdog, Common Charity, they could have easily done that on their own. So it really makes me happy that Konami is throwing their weight behind this, and hopefully we'll see some reprints for Time Wizards and maybe some more direction for Heart of the Underdog, as well as maybe a ban list for Common Charity and Deckmaster. So we'll see what happens with those. But I'm very excited. I hope you are too. I'll see you again in the next video where we actually play some games finally, but I just thought this was too important to not talk about. So keep playing this fucking game because it's impossible. Catch you later.